Sims 4 game packs have been unofficially killed off by EA. They're no longer making them, and based on information that we can intimate, it seems like they are no longer going to make Sims 4 game packs ever. And in order to understand why, it's important that we go all the way back to my wedding stories. This is the second last released Sims 4 game pack, and for obvious reasons, it was extremely controversial. In fact, from so many different angles, this has obviously put a sour taste in the mouths of Simmers in relation to game packs. And then of course we got the Werewolves pack, which was our final game pack, and the reason why I believe they made it a game pack is because vampires were a game pack, Realm of Magic spellcasters were a game pack, so it would be hard for them to justify another occult being an expansion. So naturally they made it a game pack, but then something very strange happened after Werewolves. I'm pretty sure it was within only just a few days of the release of Werewolves, they immediately announced The Sims 4 High School Years, the next expansion for The Sims 4. Even more interestingly, Werewolves was released in June 2022 and High School Years was released in July 2022. To have a game pack and an expansion so close together is absolutely bizarre, and it seems like a very deliberate decision for them to announce a new expansion pack so quickly after a game pack. My personal theory is not that many people purchase Werewolves, so in order to make up their sales for that quarter, they likely just immediately announce High School Years. And of course, High School Years was incredibly rushed. It was released in a pretty terrible state. To this day, it's one of the most hated Sims 4 expansion packs for being so bad. So it's pretty obvious that this pack was rushed, especially considering it was released only literally a month after the last game pack. Clearly that wasn't intended to be the original deadline for the pack, so I'm definitely getting a sense of they have some sales targets to meet in order to uphold shareholder expectations or whatever, and they didn't meet it with Werewolves, so now they've just released expansion after expansion because clearly these sell a lot more. In terms of why they sell a lot more is very interesting to me, because the last few Sims 4 expansion packs have not been an expansion pack's worth of content really. Take Lovestruck, the most recent one, for example. This is basically rehashed features from My Wedding Stories and Growing Together and put as its own little pack, and pretty much every single Sims content creator has come out and said this is a game pack. If you reduce the number of neighborhoods in the world by one, then it would feel like a game pack world, plus a game pack's worth of gameplay. Even the build mode in CAS wasn't really that much, yet expansion packs are clearly doing very well. The reason why I personally think so is because the branding and the brand image for an expansion is a lot more renowned than a game pack. I remember when The Sims 4 first announced the existence of game packs, many Simmers were so confused because in the past we only ever had expansion packs and stuff packs. I think Simmers were really struggling to understand what a game pack was, and the lines were blurred between a game pack and an expansion. Whereas when you think of an expansion pack, you think of like a proper core Sims 4 experience, which I think carries them a lot. Even though recent expansion packs are not a whole value for money experience, they at least have that name and the brand image. Although I definitely think this is a huge issue for The Sims 4 stepping forward. With the quality of expansion packs diminishing so much over the years, eventually Simmers will stop seeing expansion packs as a big expansion to the game. They will feel less and less whole, therefore people will trust the name of expansion pack I think a lot less, especially considering the price increase of Lovestruck in certain territories. I heard in Australia and New Zealand Lovestruck has gone up like tremendously. Like the price of this pack is so much more than a regular Sims 4 pack, and you can literally get like a huge like whole big video game for slightly cheaper than Lovestruck. Like I'm pretty sure, you know, Cyberpunk, for example, is cheaper than Lovestruck right now in the UK at least. So is a game like The Witcher 3, for example. You could get a whole other cozy simulation game for half that cost if that's your vibe, and it will have so much more content. The price of an expansion pack is absolutely absurd. Adding on to that, that Sims 4 expansion packs now are feeling more like game packs. I just think it's a recipe for disaster. Yet for some reason, it's working for them. And my personal theory is The Sims 4 is obviously in very, very late stage. It's been out for 10 years now. It's one of those games where if you've been playing it for this long, for literally 10 years, you're probably never gonna stop. I always get this term wrong. I think it may be called the whale model. It's like, you know, those mobile app games which are free but have in-game purchases, and 99% of people who play these games do not spend a penny on them, but there's that 1% of people who will put so much money into these like little mobile app games, like literally so much money in just one tiny game. But it's such a small amount of people, but because they spend so much money, it makes up for the people who don't spend any money. This is my personal theory in terms of the way the monetization of The Sims 4 is going. They kind of know that people will just purchase packs anyway, regardless of quality, because they're the whales or whatever it's called. You know, even in my comment section a lot, I often get comments from people saying like, oh, Satch, I bought this one pack because I like this one t-shirt in Castle. I bought that pack because I like the sofa swatch in it. And it's very, very interesting to me that people will purchase the packs for just like, you know, one or two small things. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, like go ahead, like I'm not stopping you, your money, not mine. If it makes you happy, go for it. But I personally think this is why the packs are diminishing in size and quality, yet they're not being downgraded to a game pack, which is what they should be. And the reason why I think it's a really big shame is because there are so many pack concepts that I think would work as a game pack so well. I definitely think Simmers would have been more satisfied with Horse Ranch, for example, if it was a game pack. I think Love Struck would have been more satisfying if it was a game pack. I also feel like the same about Growing Together, honestly, if it didn't come with a world at all. But more importantly, future Sims 4 pack concepts that we've all been thinking about may be less likely to happen now. A big one is fairies. I'm still not sure if fairies are really coming because they can't be an expansion pack, because literally every other occult has been a game pack. If they made fairies a whole expansion, I just can't imagine them justifying it, because we have every other occult to compare to, which is a game pack, and this is like hard evidence of cash grabbiness. Like it wouldn't even be like a subjective opinion, like it would be so much more objective, which is why I personally think we're not getting fairies as of yet. I think in order to attempt to regain the trust of the player base, EA should do one of two things: either A, downgrade their future lackluster expansion packs to game packs so they feel less cash grabby, or B, improve the quality of their expansion packs so they actually feel like expansions and not game packs. Of course, neither of those things are happening because the shareholders don't care what you think. They just see their investment go up as you purchase more packs that you would purchase anyway, regardless whether it's in expansion or game pack, because your satisfaction levels do not appear on a financial chart. So it's very unlikely that they are coming back. Although we did say this about Sims 4 stuff packs, and then stuff packs came back, although we only got two. My impression was the Sims team made a new office somewhere in Europe. I feel like it may have been Amsterdam. I always forget. They made this new team, and I thought they were the team that was planning to work on stuff packs. But then we got two stuff packs, and now we haven't really had any more since then. And stuff packs are the kind of thing that you would expect them to just be churning out constantly, because these packs are obviously a lot easier to make because there's barely anything in them. Although on a positive note, I genuinely do feel like stuff pack quality is getting better. The last three stuff packs, Paranormal Stuff, Home Chef Hustle, and Crystal Creations, are the best stuff packs we've ever had. There's a lot of content in them. The content in them is very, very good. So that's at least one positive. I do hope that they continue forward with this trend of making quite good stuff packs. I personally would rather buy a stuff pack than a kit, and it's double the price of a kit, so I don't see why they don't prioritize stuff packs over kits. But there we go. I think The Sims is one of the weirdest games in the world for having such a bad reputation, yet people are just constantly putting money into the game and buying packs and things, even though they know it's bad. bad. When I think of other video games I've played which have done a really bad job, the audience just don't play the game and the game either dies or they sort their shit out and improve it. With The Sims, they don't really seem to be doing this whole thing of trying to recover their reputation. They did announce recently that they'd be doing some major patch updates over the course of 6 months. We've received 2 of them already. The first one was great. The second one completely broke the game, and now the game is still severely broken for most players. So they've now released honestly like 4 to 5 patch fixes for their latest patch fix, which is kind of funny. So it's like they make the effort to add all these patches, but then as a result of The Sims 4 having such a disjointed pack system, every player has a different combination of packs, meaning that all these random issues crop up that they would never have noticed when playtesting themselves. So it just kind of gets worse and worse and worse. But without going off topic too much, I personally think game packs would be great because seeming that they add a lot less gameplay than an expansion pack, they affect less things in the game. Therefore, there's a lower risk of them breaking the entire game. I mean, I'm saying that whilst Dine Out exists and My Wedding Stories exists, so maybe I'm wrong, but when I think of a really great game pack, I always think of Werewolves because it's such an isolated experience, and that's what a game pack should be, in my opinion. Just a very separate, isolated experience. I also feel the same about Strangerville. Neither of these packs really break the game. They just kind of exist in their own little world if you want to play with them. That's what I like about game packs, and I think that's why they should return. I told you guys before, I don't think fairies are coming. I'm not too sure, but I would love to see a fairies game pack. I think it would be good. My ultimate dream Sims pack that I've always wanted ever since The Sims 2 was a reality TV show pack. I think that could work well as a game pack. There are so many concepts which really just can't be justified as an expansion, but they could be as a game pack. This is why I personally want them to come back. You guys let me know, would you rather an expansion pack or a game pack? If you want to know more about how The Sims 4 is literally dying down and degrading to the point of no return, you can watch my video here where I explain it all. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.